I am dreading this cupboard. Hello and welcome to Tea with Lilibet. For those of you who are familiar with my channel, you'll know that I've been decluttering my home. I have decluttered so many rooms and spaces and I've been thrilled with the results. But I do have 3 areas that I still need to declutter. The first one is my garage, and I think I'm going to wait to do that one till the weather's a little bit better. It's midwinter here and it's a bit cold in that space. But there are 2 other spaces that I want to tackle straight away. I have my bathroom cupboards, and I don't think that's going to be a really big job. I've got some old makeup that needs to be thrown out, and it just needs to be cleaned up and organized a little bit. And then there's my hallway cupboard. If you've watched some of my other decluttering videos, you know that I have been dreading this cupboard. I don't know if I've got a mental block about it or if it's just a really shocking mess that I'm a little bit scared to tackle. I might have made this job a little bit bigger in my mind than it actually is. I hope so, but I'm preparing myself for the worst. So the plan today is to declutter the hallway cupboard, and if I get time, I'll quickly do the bathroom cupboards as well. The hallway is quite a narrow space, so it's not going to be very efficient to work in there, and there isn't very good light. I'm going to drag everything out into the kitchen and sort it in there. I have vacuumed the kitchen floor so it's nice and clean, and I can sit on there and hopefully do a great job sorting through all of these random things in this cupboard. It'll be great to get it done and dusted. So I'm just going to finish my hot chocolate and then I'm going to get started.
I stand by you when you're falling, when the river is calling. I said I love you forever. We can make it together. What goes up must come down. There's lots of friendly faces all around, and nothing's ever lifting me higher than a touch of your sweet desire. On through the night, as long as we are watching the fire, we'll be safe from the devil's choir. I stand by you when you're falling.
I realized that there was a lot of stuff in that cupboard, and I'm going to have to do it in 2 batches because otherwise I won't have enough space to work. So I've taken everything out except for the supplements, the medications, and anything that's in the first aid kit. I'll sort through all of these and decide what to do with them, and then I'll get the next batch out. So as usual with my decluttering, I like to separate everything into 3 piles: keep, maybe, or get rid of, to sell / give away. I doubt I'm going to have anything like that in here, but you never know. So let's get started. I've got a bit of an emotional connection to the puzzles. I've been sick with chronic fatigue for around 10 years, and along that time, I've had some times where I felt really, really unwell and couldn't sleep for most of the night because of pain and nausea. I had my working puzzle all set out on the dining room table, and if I felt well enough to get out of bed, I would come and I would just work on it and I would distract myself, and that's how I would get through some of those really bad nights. I want to acknowledge these puzzles and say thank you for the comfort that they've given me.
Even if it takes me forever.
I first started sorting through all these cords and cables, I felt really overwhelmed and I wasn't sure what to do. But I've decided that I'm going to bundle up these ones that I don't use and either sell them for a very small amount of money or just give them away on Facebook Marketplace. And I just hope there's some tech person out there who's interested in them all. So I'm just going to take some pictures, put them into little bags, and then put them away until I can place an ad. I also have an old modem, which I've reset back to factory settings, and I'm just going to make that as part of the bundle. It's time to start organizing and finding homes for some of the items that I do want to keep. I have some old bills and documents that will need to be shredded, so I'm just going to remove the staples and set them aside so that I could take them to my local stationery store where they'll shred them for a couple of dollars. Feels like it's taken me hours, but I have sorted everything that I took out in the first lot. So here I've got some boxes that I want to keep of electronics, computers, etc. that I may end up selling those items when I replace them in the future. Some art supplies and containers. I've decided to just keep my old sketch pad. I'd forgotten how much I enjoyed drawing, but I only really ever liked doing just drawing with pencils. So I've kept some pencils and some charcoals and my sketch pad. Over here I've got items that I'm going to be selling or giving away. So I've got my old laptop that I'm still yet to sell, and my old iPad and my old Garmin watch and some very old iPhones. So those are either just the boxes or the items themselves. I've got some cords that I'm going to give away to a musician friend of mine. This is an old designer luggage tag that I'm probably just going to give to charity. Someone might want that. My puzzles, I've decided to give them away, and some art books and supplies that I'm going to give to my niece. And then I've got these other art supplies that are going to go to my sister, who is an artist. So I'm really happy that those things are going to be used. Over this side, I've got my folders of my health things and my old university notes. I do need to digitize all of these. It's a lot of papers, so it's going to be quite a big project to do it. So they're probably just going to go back in the cupboard for now. My paper that I use for the printer. I started with 3 boxes of cords and all kinds of junk, and I have sorted through that, and I've decided to keep these items. Some of them I use and some of them I may use in the future, but it's pretty much a third of what I had before, so I'm delighted with that. Here I've got some household items. I've got 3M temporary hooks. This is some wire and some little eye hooks for picture hanging, and then just a whole bunch of batteries. So that's just sort of like a utilities kind of a box. In this box, I've got a whole bunch of things that I need to decide if I'm going to keep or what they're going to be used for. So little earplugs for an old headset, and got some USBs and an old portable disc. And I've just got to decide if I'm going to keep those things. So for now, I'll just pop them in there. Over here are all my medical scans. Probably do need to go through them at some point and decide what I'm going to keep. But for now, they do come in handy. When I see new doctors, I do use them. And this is a little empty box now that I'm going to fill with some cords from my home office. And over here are just some items that I'm going to give away. And then over here is just a big pile of rubbish. So the next thing to do is just to clear all of this out of this space so I can bring in the next lot. I'll get rid of the rubbish, and I'm going to pack up the items that I'm going to give away or sell. Now that the first batch of things have been sorted and organized and I've gotten rid of the rubbish, it's time to bring out the supplements, the first aid kit, and all the health-related items. So this is the rest of everything from the cupboard. Billy's crunching away in the background there. As I look at it, I feel, I don't know, I just feel a bit bad. I haven't gone through it all yet. I know that there'll be a lot of waste here. As part of my treatments for chronic fatigue syndrome, the treatment options are pretty experimental. So you just end up trying a bunch of things when you've got this condition. So I've done a lot of protocols over the last 10 years. This is not a representation of everything I've done. I've done much more. But I know that there are things that I've bought and tried that haven't worked out. And yeah, I just feel really sad about the wastage of resources and money and energy and time. And of course, creating more rubbish. I don't know if I could have done this differently because I feel like I had to try everything that my doctor or my naturopath asked me to try because I was just desperate to feel better. So I'm just going to go through it and work out what I'm going to keep, what I'm going to throw away. And I don't expect there'll be much that I can give away because, you know, some of these medications are very specific and they need to be prescribed. So yeah, I think I'll just probably end up throwing away the contents and recycling the containers. At least I can do that. So let's get started. all of the natural medicines and some of the conventional medicines, but now I'm going to go through my medicine chest, which has some prescriptions and things like that. So I'll do that off camera, and then I'll start to put everything back into the cupboard. I'm just going to box up these items that I am keeping, and I'll decide where they'll go a little bit later. So I sorted everything, I've thrown away what I need to throw out, and now I'm ready to wipe down the cupboard before I put everything back.
It's night in the city, and I'm on my way back home. Humming on my favorite ditty, swinging like Natalie Cole. But then out of the blue, who strolls down the boulevard but you? Your place is closer than mine. Why don't we go there and have some more wine? 'Cause life is for living. Let's see where this all might lead. Let's see where this all might lead. Waking up to a brand new day in between your sheets. Breaking up in the best of ways, and I'm back again on the street. But then out of the blue, a wind starts blowing in ways so new. A world more exciting than mine is holding up a great big welcoming sign. Life is for living. Let's see where this all might lead.
Well, that was a huge job, much bigger than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, it was a lot of hard work, and it was emotional and a bit of a grind, but I've got it done. So I'm going to show you the results, and you can let me know what you think. I'm really happy with this tiny little shelf that I've created for all of my scans. It's not taking up very much space, and it's just a handy little spot. And I just found when I had them up high, if I ever had to get them down for a doctor's appointment, they would slip out of my hand, they would fall on me, and it was really uncomfortable. So I'm really happy with the place that I've stored them. When I started this project today, I really felt a bit overwhelmed. That cupboard was just hanging over my head for so long. I was thinking about it back in January when I started on this journey of decluttering my home. And I just thought, not yet, not yet. I'm not ready to do it. So I purposely left it to be one of the last spaces that I declutter. I felt that if I had a bit more experience with decluttering, I would make that job easier, and that turned out to be true. Going through all of those items was actually quite emotional for me. I hit my first wall when I was starting to go through all of the leads and cords. My first reaction was to just put them all in a box, put a lid on it, and put it away. And I thought, no, that's what I've been doing all of these years, so it's really time to do something about it. The other emotional moment was when I looked through my sketchbook. I hadn't actually looked at that for a really long time. When I first got divorced, I was living in Sydney in Newtown, and I took up art. And it was a really beautiful way for me to express myself during that time. It occupied my hands and my mind. I felt really alive, really inspired and creative. And looking at those sketches, it really meant something to me, and yeah, it touched me that I'd done those things. I decided to declutter most of my art things. I've kept my sketch pad, and I've kept some pencils and some charcoals for myself in case I do decide to do that again, and that won't take up very much space. And then the final really emotional moment was going through all of the old supplements and treatments and natural therapy kind of items that I had. It was quite cathartic, actually. It was letting go of that time in my life when I was really, really unwell. I deal with chronic fatigue now on a daily basis, but back then I could barely stand up. I was so sick. Initially, I felt quite confronted, but then I felt really unburdened by letting go of those things. I was thrilled to be able to clean out my first aid kit. That is a lot more organized now. I can easily access the medications and items that I use more regularly. And the other big win that I had through this decluttering was to be able to get a lot of my equipment out of the home office and move it into the cupboard. I've got some of my sound equipment in there and leads. I've got lighting equipment. I didn't end up getting to do the bathroom cupboard today, but I'm so happy with the results of the hallway declutter that I'm not disappointed about that. I'll get to that another time. So yeah, I think it was a really productive day. I hope that you found it encouraging and inspiring to tackle a decluttering task in your own home that you've also been dreading. If you enjoyed this video today, you'd be helping me out if you gave me a thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel and you're into home lifestyle, intentional living, or wellness, I would love to welcome you as a new subscriber. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and select all so that you get notified of all my new videos. So thanks again for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you.